Get paid to travel the world. Hey, I'm Jordan. I guess I'm a worldwide traveler. I've been to 64 different countries and 5 different continents. I've done most different styles of traveling. So if it's backpacking, solo, budget, groups, friends, family, yeah. I've done the working holiday. I'm originally from Australia and I've done the working holiday visa in London for 2 years, which was incredible. I've also been a travel agent for just over 2 years, so I've learned a lot of the ins and outs of traveling. But today's video is going to be about ways to travel the world while making money. Number one is going to be a working holiday visa. As I mentioned before, I'm from Australia and I did the 2-year working visa in London. So essentially was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It was much easier than I originally thought. So the whole purpose behind this is to move to a different country / continent, to get a job, a new house, and to kind of base yourself in that country while obviously experiencing it, working, and traveling around. So for a lot of Australians, it's actually pretty common. What we do is we generally move to London and then get a job, get a home, and travel around Europe. That way you can save money, that way you can travel around Europe and other places in the world, and you're not wasting all your time and money. You're essentially getting to get the authentic experience in that country. You get to travel around the surrounding places while saving money, and yeah. It's a really good way to get around. I'm actually currently planning my 2-year working visa in Canada. It's always been a dream of mine to travel Canada, but I figured why not explore, experience, base myself there, travel around the US, and I want to do so many hikes in Canada. So at least this way I'm not spending a lot of money on a massive touristy trip. I'm getting the real experience of Canada, get to meet the locals, get to understand how things operate there while traveling around. And speaking from experience, it is really easy to do, no matter which country you are from. I'm not particularly sure on most visas, but for Australians, you simply just need to do a 2-year working visa, which isn't expensive at all. You apply for it, you book your flights, and you start planning. If you guys do have any questions about that, you can just shoot me a message and I'll be happy to help. Number 2 is becoming a tour guide or a travel agent. I was a travel agent for 2 years and it was incredible. I got to learn a lot of the ins and outs of traveling, so budgeting in terms of how to travel, how not to travel, and certain airlines, countries, things, all the little secrets essentially. And being a travel guide, being a travel agent, you get a lot of free trips. So I got a lot of Kentucky tours, I got a lot of G Adventures, a lot of big tours that were worth a couple of thousand for free, which was awesome because during tours you wouldn't normally do things you do by yourself. And you also get to meet and travel with like-minded people, which was phenomenal. And yeah, not only that, you can actually do this across the globe. So you can be a tour guide or a travel agent in any country of the world. Obviously tourism's a big thing, not at the moment, but once it bounces back, it will be. And yeah, you obviously get to learn about traveling, you get paid a full-time salary, you get to also do trips you would never do. So being a travel agent, I got to do some phenomenal experiences, things that I didn't even know existed, and I learned so much about the world. So definitely an awesome way to get paid while traveling. For tour guides, it is, honestly, it's not the best pay, but it is an incredible lifestyle. All the tour guides I know have loved their experiences. Most tour guides normally stay in those jobs for about 1 or 2 years just because it is so consuming. And you are away from your family for such a long time, and it is pretty hard to find a balance, but you do get to travel on, everything's paid for, accommodation, you get to stay in that country, you get to kind of do so much for so little. So obviously you're getting paid while doing it and all your expenses are covered for. So if you do want to travel consistently, then it is an incredible way to get around while getting paid, and it's so enjoyable. Like, you meet so many amazing people and you get to do so many awesome things, so definitely a good tip. Number 3 is teaching a language or English overseas. This is actually a very common one. I know a lot of people that have gone to generally China or Japan. They teach English overseas on a full-time job, they get paid, and again, they get to travel the country and all the surrounding places. It's obviously very easy to achieve if you speak a different language or fluent English, and you also get to learn different languages too, which is pretty cool. And again, it's very easily accessible. So you'll be getting paid a full-time wage with free accommodation depending on what job you get. And yeah, you get to travel around the country. Number 4 is working in hostels around the world. Specifically, my experience is doing it in Europe. Just because the Europe hostels are known as the best in the world, because they're city center, they're very modern, clean, they're very safe. You get to meet incredible people while doing so. But the point of this tip is I met a lot of people when traveling Europe that based themselves in a certain country. The people I met were predominantly from Amsterdam. So they stayed in Amsterdam while working in a hostel full time. During the day, they got to travel around. During the weekend, they went to different countries. So they were getting a full-time salary with free accommodation. And it's one, an awesome way to meet people. Two, you get to travel around wherever you base yourself in the world. And 3, it's an easy job. So it's not like you need a lot of requirements to do that. And it's definitely achievable for anyone. It's, yeah, an easy job, easy way to travel around while making money. Number 5 is doing a volunteer program. So this isn't particularly popular in terms of full-time. A lot of people do it just for the experience, which is, again, everything. So what you can do is you can apply for some volunteer programs whereby you can go help people in need or certain countries that are currently going through like disasters or just hardship. And this is generally offered through some companies that will pay for your expenses. So flights you'll have to pay for, visas are generally covered for, you get free accommodation, free food, free transport. It is an incredible way to kind of experience such a unique thing, and obviously to help other people, but also experience in that country. So if it is something of interest, you can essentially get paid to travel and to have such a unique experience. So yeah. So the final tip is going to be building a social media following. I know it's easier said than done, but for me, I started traveling pretty much full-time 3 years ago, and I started to follow people that essentially were getting paid to travel the world by simply taking photos, creating videos, and it kind of just resonated and figured it's free, it's accessible, you can reach millions of people, and if you're doing it with what you love, then why wouldn't you do it? So I started to post some photos, post some videos of my travel experiences, and started to build a pretty decent following. Through that, I got some sponsorships through companies that I was in line with. That has kind of made me achieve a sustainable income, which is honestly achievable for anyone. If you do want to start getting paid to travel, then obviously you got to be consistent with your travel post or with whatever it is. But we live in a generation now where all these platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, all these places or companies are free, and you can reach millions of people by simply being creative, being yourself, sharing your experiences, reviews, opinions, and it's so easy. Like, I know it's very discouraging because it seems overwhelming to compete against other people, but you don't. You just gotta be yourself, you gotta do what you want, and you can accomplish a lot. Regardless of how many followers or likes or whatever, you can achieve a lot. These companies don't look for the amount of followers you have. They look for the person you are. They look for the engagement you have with people and how consistent you are and the quality of the content you're providing. So, like, why wouldn't you? If you're uncomfortable or if you're not confident in posting these things, then that's fair enough. You can simply take photos or just record other people. Just be creative with it, and who knows what can transpire. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or anything like that, shoot me a message on Instagram. I hope you've taken something from it. Hopefully this has sparked something so you guys can start planning and preparing for your future travels. But like I said, if you have any questions, shoot me a message on Instagram, and yeah, safe travels.